Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Now a quick game of interplanetary ice bike going on here. Today, we're back on Mars, but we're looking at the 2001 Mars Odyssey mission. Now, I've been following this mission for a number of years now, and I've downloaded an awful lot of their images, and some of them are very interesting. They're not brilliant quality, but they're not bad either. They're sort of what I would call medium quality satellite images. Now these are taken from miles and miles up. I don't know how, but I think it's probably something like 25 or 50 miles above the surface of Mars, possibly even 100, I don't know. As with a lot of these satellites, that may change if it's on an elliptical orbit rather than a more circular one, so sometimes the height will change. So there we go. Now this is an interesting image, and I've been collecting these Odyssey images for a while now, probably for a couple of years especially, but I really went through a lot of them early this morning, and found a lot of interesting things which I'm going to show you now. Really strange. Now some of these are completely natural structures, of course, I appreciate that, but some of them don't look that natural to me. We have long been told that there's nothing on Mars, we've just been told there's water on Mars. Many researchers like myself have came to the conclusion there was water on Mars decades ago, and also that there's probably life on Mars, and possibly, well, there was life on Mars, and possibly even life now. Even Charles Bolden, the director of of NASA, I'm going to say CIA then, the director of NASA, has said that there may still be life on Mars now. So keep an open mind. Just because you were told at school that there's nothing there and it's too cold doesn't mean that's true. There's absolutely no basis for that attitude whatsoever. There may have been life there for many millions of years or billions of years, and there may still be some left. Even though there's been a huge cataclysm on the surface, some of these things may have survived. And the main image I was going to show you was this one. Now let's find the original here. Look at the original. Now these images are not huge, they're about 2.5 meg or something like that, so they're not massive, so you can easily download them. And this has got some awesome stuff in here with some very interesting dune structures and these rather strange blobs. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 blobs there. What are those? Now I appreciate they may be dunes also, but they don't look like it. And in fact, that's what initially caught my eye, and this rather strange structure here, that initially caught my eye. But then I looked down here and I thought, what on earth have we got here? These strange blobs seem to be multiplying, and in fact, to me, although they may be dunes or something, looked like animals. They look like a herd of large animals, very large animals in fact. Now, if I knew the exact height this was taken, I could work out the size of these. Let's have a quick look at the page here and see if it tells us at what altitude it was. Now it gives us longitude and latitude, but not altitude. Can't see any altitude reading there. So another typically vague photograph from NASA, where they've only given you a sort of minimal of information about it. But it's Milankovitch crater. The dunes in the center of the image are located in the pit at the summit of the crater peak. The small dunes near the bottom of the image are located on the floor of the crater. Okay, many medium-sized craters have central peaks, blah 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 blah. So they're saying they are dunes, and they may well be dunes, of course, but to me, they don't look like dunes. Let's go back to the folder here and have another look. I've got some very basic enhancements here. Now this is completely raw, this clip here. There's nothing done to this. This is as it comes. And when you go in closely, there seem to be a few different sizes of these. Like as almost you have adult, almost like you've got sort of adult creatures, very large, like this one, and smaller ones walking along behind. Now, it's customary, when you see herds of elephants or very large creatures on Earth from above, you often see the smaller elephants just behind the larger ones. So, are we looking at a herd of animals here? Let me show you the enhancements, because what I've done is I've really brightened it up for you, and I've got one here. This has been cleaned up a little bit, and I've brightened it. Now, these may well be dunes, but I would expect them to be a lot more curved and more elongated if they were. These don't look like dunes to me. I mean, if they are animals, they'd have to be very large. Elephant-sized animals, if not even bigger, for them to show from space. I mean, we don't know the level of zoom on this, and we don't know the distance of the actual camera or satellite when it was taken. So this is the problem. And there do seem to be what look like tracks around here. If you look at these marks on the side of this crater here, and around here, you've got all these kind of lines and what look like tracks. This, to me, looks like a herd of animals. Don't ask me what sort of animals they are, I couldn't tell you. Let's have a look at the enhancement here. So, yeah, this is an enhancement. I just added a bit of colour to this. I've warmed it up using colour temperature, and it does seem like there are larger structures or animals with smaller animals following along behind them in a sort of herd, like a herd of very large cattle or dinosaurs or perhaps elephant type creatures. I have no idea what they are. And when you zoom in, some of these do look like animals. They seem to have heads and bodies rather than just a blob of sand or just a random set of dunes. These don't look like random dunes to me. I mean, they may well be, but if you look at some of these, they've got a shadow on this one that seems to have a head type structure and a body to it with a shadow there. Could these be dinosaurs? Could they be giant creatures of some sort? Who knows? I may be totally off the mark here, but there do seem to be tracks around here. Let me just show you this in my image processor a minute. Here's the raw image. Let's get in really close. Here's the raw image. Now, the raw image is a bit blocky and it's been compressed, but you can still see some pretty good detail here. Okay? And here's the enhancement. I mean, these were interesting to me. These look like an aerial view of animals grazing or whatever. Is that possible? Anything's possible on Mars. Some of the stuff we've seen. I'll just show you some of the. I'll put some more close-ups of these in at the end, but I'm just going to show you some of the other images from the Odyssey mission, which were really interesting, like this one. Some crazy overlapping channels or canales, or what were initially construed as canals on Mars, but that is actually a mistranslation of canales. Canales means channels. These are all over Mars, and it's interesting how some of these overlap each other and were made at different times by massive flows of liquid water, probably. Very interesting. There was that one. That was a nice one, and there is also this thing, which I thought was an awesome image. With these amazing structures here by this crater. Absolutely insane, these teeth-like structures here. Very odd indeed. I don't know how to explain that at all. I mean, this is out of context because we're only seeing what's part of a crater here, so I think when you see the entire thing it makes a lot more sense. But that was just a really interesting image to me. Really cool. So I'll have clips of all these in at the end of the video anyway, as usual. I mean, there are sort of interesting dune structures on the surface, and also you do get these rather odd, almost equally spaced structures like we have here. It's another Odyssey image, obviously. You get these here, see? They almost look like teeth. But they may well be natural structures, of course. Not all of these things are necessarily unnatural. So, I mean, I did an enhancement of that because I thought it was just a really cool image. Some interesting structures as we go up here. So this is maybe what we're kind of looking at on that other image, but they do look different. And the sort of pattern they're in makes them look intelligent. Doesn't mean they are, of course. But there was also this one, which I thought was really cool. There's like a brain in this crater, which is obviously just some sand dunes, but I just thought it was very interesting and rather beautiful shape, I thought, and almost like abstract art, you know. So I'll put some clips of these and I'll enhance them a bit for you at the end of the video. I mean, of course, not everything we see on the surface of Mars is going to be an anomaly or something strange. Sometimes these things are just natural. They just seem strange to us because they're on another planet, you know. A lot of these things, if they were seen on Earth, no one would bat an eyelid at. Like this, for instance. If you saw that from an Earth photograph, you'd instantly say that that was a herd of animals. Why not on Mars? Why instantly say that these are dunes? They don't look anything like dunes with high shadows like this. That's not a dune. I mean, they could be. They could be termite mounds. They could be giant termite mounds. They could be some other kind of crystalline structures that have grown on the surface. They could even be organic growth of some sort. These could be something else, completely different. So who knows? So answers on the postcard as usual, people. Are these animals? Is this a herd of animals? Are they just dunes, which I don't think they are? Or something else? Who knows for sure? Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you soon.